Alrighty, in this video what I want to do is I want to show you guys a new feature of JavaScript that comes from ES2015 or ECMA script 2015 that you can use today on most browsers actually without any sort of transpilation step, but in some browsers you might have to use a transpiler like Babel. And the funny thing about this is this feature I'm about to show you guys actually impacts a lot of the stuff that I said earlier. By using this new way to declare variables, we get away from a lot of the pitfalls of using var, a lot of the things that we've discussed in the series so far. And I still think it's incredibly important to understand the nature of var, the nature of scopes, and all the stuff that we've already discussed. But as you'll see, a lot of that weird behavior we had to deal with var is about to go away with a feature of JavaScript that honestly should have been there from the beginning. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to comment this out. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to do example 22. And as we saw before, if we make a function like blah, or let's call this example 22. If we make a function like this and I do like, let's say if true, just a little silly thing there. Var test equals whoa, and then I do console log test, and now I invoke example 22. The output, of course, is going to be, if I bring my console open, the output, of course, is going to be whoa. Because, remember, the var gets hoisted up to the top, and as a result, the variable is available from everywhere, because JavaScript doesn't have block level scoping. Actually, that's a lie. It totally does. Let's go ahead and take a look at another example. Function example 22b. I'm going to say if true, let test equals whoa. Console log test. You can ignore that error. It's either the linter or my JS config settings on VS Code. It doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and hit Control S. And now what's cool. Whoops! I have to invoke it. This is going to do something really cool. Check that out. That's awesome. It threw a reference error right there. Test is not defined. But we have it right here, right? So what's going on? Well, JavaScript ES2015 introduced two new keywords. Well, it introduced quite a few new keywords, but two of them pertain to declaring variables, and that is let and const. And both let and const declare block-scoped variables. And I think that's fantastic. Because, as you see here, we're not able to access this variable from within a block that is not a parent of it. Now, of course, we can access this variable from within this block, right? So we see whoa is print. Let's call this whoa2 to distinguish it. So we see whoa2, then we get an uncaught reference error. But outside of the block, we can't. And the reason I think this is so fantastic is because it brings me, you might think it's silly being all super excited about my code crashing, but actually it's fantastic because it brings me to the final and best solution to this problem. So let's do example 23, and I'll call this solution 4. And for solution 4, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for let I equals 0, I smaller than people length, I++. You can ignore those errors. Again, it's just because ESLint isn't configured to not be annoying. Let person equals people at I. Let element equals document create element li. And then I'm going to do element dot inner text equals person. Element dot add event listener, click function alert you clicked on person, and then list append child element, and we get our output. And what's funny is if I split this window here, you'll notice that this is practically no different than the first example that broke. In fact, I can even make the same indentation there, or the same blank line there. So you see that this code is almost completely identical to this code. Remember, we have our people and list defined all the way up here. That hasn't been commented out. Difference is we're using let. So Remember, let is a block scoped variable. So let's go ahead and click on foo. You clicked on foo. Bar, you clicked on bar. Baz, you clicked on Baz. It works. And so you see why this might be my preferred syntax, because honestly, it's the well, actually, I did really like the functional approach to this. But if you're gonna do a loop, the reason why I really like this the syntax is because it's defining our variables as block scope, meaning our blocks are creating scopes now, right? So actually, I'm actually curious. Let's do some science. I have never actually popped open the debugger to see what it's going to say in the scope window if I do this. So let's go ahead and check this out. Check this out. So scope, it now says local, but then it has this block scope of person foo, and then it has global. So you see, instead of saying closure, it's saying block. The block is creating a scope. But what's interesting about this is in JavaScript, blocks don't create scopes, but block scope variables will cause your block to create a scope. So yeah, by using let, we are now creating, we're basically copying in our stuff. I want to show you something cool. And this is because this feature isn't available on all browsers, and especially older ones. You would use a tool such as Babel to take your new JavaScript code that uses new features of JavaScript that aren't implemented in browsers and convert it into JavaScript that's understood by browsers. And you know why that's awesome is because we can go over to babeljs.io/repel, and we can actually paste in code such as this. And we can see how internally, how the JavaScript compiler internally will most likely, not exactly, but ish, rewrite our code so that it works by examining how this new code, by using the let keyword. So see, this is what happens when we use var. If we use var, the code looks exactly how it was before. But if I took this person, so watch this. This is the compiled code. This is the code that works on old browsers. This is going to be the code that only works on newer browsers. I'm going to come over here to person, and I'm going to replace var with let. Now look at that transformation. What it did was it actually created a new scope for us by creating a new function. In fact, this is exactly what we did in our first solution to the problem. We broke out the inside of the loop, right? And so this is what's going on behind the scenes. So I think it's very important to when you're learning about stuff like this, when you're learning about how how scopes work, how they're, I don't know, inherited or whatever. It's really important or rather how scopes work with things like let. It's really important to understand the fundamentals, the things that we've been talking about this entire section, and then applying that to how we can use new features to not have to write so convoluted code, or rather such convoluted code. So yeah, that's let. And let basically, behind the scenes, will create us a new scope. And we saw that in the debugger, and we see it working right here. And such a subtle, just a one keyword change. Now, so I want to finish this video off with discussing the other type of variable that we can now create in ES2015, and that's const. Because let, you see, or you already see the benefits of let, I'm sure. It's a block scope variable. It behaves the way we would actually really want our variables to behave in a lot of instances, and it solves a lot of problems. And it also makes it possible, or makes it certain, that we don't accidentally overwrite other variables, because or reference variables that weren't declared in our current scope. And we can see an example of that here. I can say let test equals 20, and I can say if true, let test equals 30. Now, it's a really subtle thing that's going on here, but notice what happens to the transpiled code. When we use block level scoping, we cannot no longer have conflicting variable names. If we write a new variable underneath a scope, we are going to be creating a completely unique variable. So if I were to console log out test here, and console log out test here, notice how the top one in his block scope gets a completely different variable created for him that doesn't conflict with anything else, whereas the global one is just the name test. And you can even you can honestly go as far as you want into this. I can declare let test equals 40, right? And now we have underscore test 2, a completely different variable. Again, this is, think of this code as what the browser or the JavaScript engine sees when you use the let keyword. Notice how it's changing it into a way that allows us to use block scoping. But block scoping is awesome. I use let for many things, but I actually prefer const. So const, the const keyword, is very straightforward in JavaScript. It doesn't behave like other const keywords in other languages. So let's go ahead and pull up another example. So with let, we have block scoped variables. With const, we also have block scoped variables. But the difference is, I can say const ble equals 20, and I can no longer say or redefine what ble is. If I run this code, for example, notice how in the console I get uncaught type error, assignment to constant value. So by using const, the value remains constant. You can no longer change it. That part is similar to other programming languages, but there's a subtle, there's a thing about the const keyword in JavaScript that is not something that a lot of people realize at first, and that is the only thing that's constant is the variable. So what I mean by that, let's go ahead and what I mean by that is the value itself is not constant. If I said const person equals name Nelson, it's perfectly legal for me to say person.name equals foo, and then console log person, right? Hit Control S, and it did indeed change that value. However, while I can change the object that this constant reference points to, I still can't change where it's referenced. So I can't change the variable, but I can change the value if it is referring to an array or an object or something of that nature. And I don't really want to get into there's a lot of debate actually as to should you use const everywhere, and I'm really on the in the group that says that you should use const everywhere that you can get away with, because it really helps you prevent accidentally overwriting variables and causing nasty, difficult to find bugs. And it's really all you got to do is just use the keyword and get all those benefits. In addition, there are performance implications as well. The JavaScript engine can actually perform better optimizations with the existence of the const keyword. Now, the const keyword, like I said before, is also block scope. So the const variables behave exactly like let variables, but you can't change what they point to. Once you define a const variable and assign it to something, you can't change it. So if I were to, for example, come back to this example up here and delete all that, and so the way I would actually write this is I would say for let I equals 0, const person equals people at 1, and const element. All right, that's how I would do it. Now I can't say const I equals 0 because I is manipulated right here. I++, which is illegal because we can't manipulate a const variable, but I can say let I equals 0. So here's an example of where I prefer to use const everywhere I can, but in some instances you can't get away with it, particularly for loop counters, like the I variable in this instance. But anyway, that's const and let. That is ES2015 block scoping. It solves a lot of issues. It solves many of the issues that we discussed in this video, but like I said, or in this section rather, but like I said earlier in the section, it is incredibly important that you understand in general how scoping works, how hoisting works, how closures work, even if some of those solutions that we came up with could certainly have been resolved very easily by using block scoped variables. And again, if you want to use block scope variables, most modern browsers are going to support them. At the moment, for browsers that don't, you would run your code automatically through a transpiler such as Babel. And I do have a series that goes over how to do that, how to write, it's using modern JavaScript today, and it goes over how to write code that takes advantage of ES2015 features for browsers that don't yet understand the syntax. And with that, I think this wraps up this video.